Jake Carter wiped sweat from his forehead and looked up at the hot, distant sun hanging in the sky above the colony planet. It was just another routine day of inspecting the perimeter fences, something he had done countless times. Jake was an ordinary man, simple and reliable, respected for his skills as an engineer. Life was peaceful, if a little boring, on this distant planet called Eden Prime, a colony far from Earth. He had just reached the western edge of the colony, where thick bush and small trees grew wild. Jake noticed a faint movement in the bush. Ahead. His first thought was a wild animal, perhaps one of the small, harmless creatures native to Eden Prime. He approached slowly, careful not to frighten whatever was hiding. Suddenly, a voice startled him. It was clear, strong, yet filled with a desperate fear. "Stop right there. Don't come any closer. I'm not your animal." Jake paused immediately, his eyes wide with surprise. The voice had spoken in perfect English, but it was obviously not human. The bushes parted slowly, and a figure stepped forward, wary and guarded. It was a young alien woman. Her skin was a pale shade of blue, smooth and delicate. Her large eyes were deep violet, watching Jake carefully. Her clothes were torn, dirty from travel, and she was clearly exhausted. Even so, she held herself proudly, refusing to show weakness. Jake raised his hands gently, showing he meant no harm. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm Jake. Who are you?" The alien girl hesitated, watching him closely. "My name is Aria. I'm running. I cannot let them catch me again." "Who is after you?" Jake asked softly, seeing the fear behind her brave face. "Slavers," she answered bitterly. "They captured me from my home, treated me like property. I escaped from their ship and hid on your world, but they're still looking for me." Jake felt immediate anger at the idea of anyone being treated as property. He stepped forward carefully. "You're safe now, I promise you." "Can I help you?" Aria's strength seemed to fade as she realized he was sincere. She swayed slightly, suddenly weak from days without proper rest or food. Before she could answer her, legs gave way. Jake rushed forward just in time, catching her gently before she hit the ground. Aria looked up at him with wide eyes, her breath shaky. "It's okay," Jake assured her quietly. "I've got you. I'll take you somewhere safe." Aria hesitated, fear still visible in her eyes. Yet, feeling his strong arms around her, she realized she had no choice but to trust him. "Why help me? You don't even know me." Jake smiled gently, calm and reassuring. "Because it's the right thing to do." Carefully, Jake lifted her into his arms. She was surprisingly light, fragile after her ordeal. He carried her swiftly back toward his small home near the edge of the colony. Keeping the quieter paths and shadows, Jake made sure nobody saw them. Many in the colony feared aliens, and he knew they might misunderstand. Arriving at his house, he quickly unlocked the door and stepped inside, laying Aria gently on the small bed in his guest room. She watched him silently as he fetched water and some food, setting them carefully beside her. "Rest now," Jake told her softly. "You're safe here. No one will find you." Aria slowly nodded, taking a small sip of water. Her tense muscles relaxed slightly as she realized she truly was safe. Her eyes drifted shut, sleep quickly overtaking her. Jake sat quietly beside the bed, watching over her as she rested. He knew helping Aria could mean trouble if others found out, but he couldn't bring himself to regret his choice. She deserved freedom and kindness after what she'd been through. Outside, the sun began to set, casting gentle orange light through the window. Jake prepared a small meal, simple but nourishing, knowing Aria would be hungry when she awoke. The quiet sounds of the colony settling down for the night filled the air, peaceful, yet somehow tense for Jake. Hours later, Aria awoke slowly, feeling refreshed yet cautious. She looked around the simple room, noticing Jake asleep in a chair beside her bed. Her heart softened, seeing his gentle, relaxed face in the faint light. She realized this human was different, genuinely kind and caring. Quietly, Aria ate the meal he had prepared, grateful for the nourishment. When Jake finally stirred and opened his eyes, she offered him a faint, shy smile. "Thank you," she said softly, "for everything." Jake smiled back warmly, stretching as he sat up. "You're welcome. I'm glad you feel better." "You're very kind," Arya admitted, studying his face carefully. "Not many would help someone like me." Jake shook his head gently. "I don't understand. People who wouldn't help. Everyone deserves kindness." Arya sighed softly, sadness and gratitude mixed in her expression. "I wish more humans thought like you." "Maybe they will," Jake replied hopefully. "One day." Arya nodded, hope flickering in her eyes. "Maybe." Together they sat quietly, each finding comfort and peace in the other's presence. Outside, the stars shone brightly, watching over them as a quiet friendship began to form, built on trust and simple acts of kindness. After the plot was revealed and the real culprits were taken away, things began to change at the summit. Delegates from many worlds came to Eric and Kara to thank them. Some offered gifts or words of thanks. Others simply smiled and nodded with new respect. Eric felt proud, but he knew the work was not finished. The council leader asked Eric and Kara to help rebuild trust. "Your courage stopped a war," he said. "But now we must show everyone that peace is not just an idea. It must be real in our actions." For the next week, Eric and Kara worked together. They visited different groups of delegates. They listened to worries and answered questions. Eric explained Earth's dream for friendship among the stars. Kara spoke of what she learned about strength and trust. More and more, people started to believe that peace was possible. One day, as they walked through the city, a group of young aliens ran up to them. They asked Eric to tell stories of Earth. Kara was surprised to see so many smiling faces. "They are not afraid anymore," Eric whispered. Kara smiled and nodded. "It is because you showed them hope." Eric shook his head. "We did it together. I could not have done this alone." As the summit neared its end, not everyone was happy. A few hard voices still argued that humans should leave. Others wanted more protection and stronger borders. But the council listened to Eric and Kara and finally voted for new agreements. Now, humans would have a place in the Federation, and Earth would send peaceful missions, not armies. One evening, Kara was called back to her people. Some Zilari leaders thought she had betrayed their old ways. She stood before them, proud but alone. They questioned her about her friendship with a human. Some called her weak for choosing peace over war. Kara spoke with steady words. "I did not betray you. I found a new way. Strength is not only in the sword, but in the heart. Eric taught me that. He risked everything for peace." Some leaders argued with her, but others listened quietly. One old general stepped forward and placed a hand on Kara's shoulder. "Perhaps it is time for us to learn new lessons. Perhaps we can be strong in new ways." That night, Kara returned to Eric. She told him what happened. "I do not know if my people will ever fully accept this change, but I believe in what we have started." Eric listened quietly. "It takes courage to go first. You're brave, Kara." The next day, there was a celebration at the embassy. People from many worlds gathered. There was food, music, and laughter. Eric saw faces from across the galaxy, smiling together. For the first time since the summit began, he felt true hope. Kara stood beside him, watching the crowd. "I did not think this was possible when I first met you," she said. "I only saw danger and difference. Now I see hope and friendship. So do I," Eric said softly. "Together we change something. Maybe not everything, but something important." As the stars shone down on the city that night, Eric and Kara knew the journey was not finished. There would be more struggles, more doubts. But for now, they celebrated the peace they had fought for. They stood side by side, knowing that their friendship had become a symbol for everyone watching, a promise that peace was worth every risk. The next morning, the city was busy and full of noise. Ships landed and took off, and crowds filled the streets. Eric woke early and looked out over the alien world. He knew today would be hard. The council had called an emergency meeting, and everyone was tense after the attacks. Eric dressed and made his way to the meeting hall. As he walked, he noticed that Kara was waiting for him near the entrance. She wore her armor as always, but there was something different in her eyes. She looked worried but determined. You ready?" Kara asked quietly. "I am," Eric replied. "But I don't know what will happen next." "Whatever happens, we face it together," Kara said. "You are my friend now." Eric smiled. It was a small comfort in the middle of trouble. Together they entered the hall. Inside, the council members and delegates filled every seat. Some looked angry, others frightened. The air felt heavy with fear and suspicion. The council leader, an elder with blue skin and many eyes, called the meeting to order. "We must find those behind the attacks," he said. "We cannot let fear divide us." One delegate stood up and pointed at Eric. "How do we know humans are not the cause? They are new here." This all started after they arrived. Others joined in, voices rising. "Prove your innocence," someone shouted. "Show us you can be trusted." Eric stood up slowly. He spoke with a steady voice, though his heart was beating fast. "I understand your fear, but humans did not do this. We came in peace. I asked you to look at the evidence, not just your fear." Kara stepped forward too. "I trust Eric. He is brave and honest. My people will also search for the truth." A few council members nodded, but others were not convinced. One of the guards brought forward a strange device they had found near the last attack. The council examined it carefully. An expert declared, "This is not human technology." That helped calm some fears, but the council was still divided. Eric realized they needed more proof. He spoke to Kara quietly. "We have to find out who is behind this. If we do nothing, there will be war." Kara agreed. "I have heard whispers among my people. Some do not want humans here. Some may be working with other groups who want to break the peace." Eric and Kara left the meeting and began to investigate. They talked to guards, looked for clues, and asked questions everywhere they went. They soon learned of a small group that met secretly each night near the edge of the city. These meetings were never announced, and only certain delegates were invited. That night, Eric and Kara watched from the shadows. They saw figures gather and speak in low voices. One of them was a delegate who had accused humans earlier. Eric listened carefully and heard them talking about making the humans look guilty. Kara's eyes narrowed. "They want to frame you," she whispered. "We need proof," Eric said. They waited and watched until the meeting ended. Then Kara moved quickly and quietly, following one of the delegates. She managed to take a small recording device from him without being seen. They hurried back to the embassy. In Eric's room, they played the recording. Voices could be heard clearly. "If we can blame the humans, the Federation will turn against them. They will be forced to leave." The words were proof of the plan to create fear and distrust. The next day, Eric and Kara brought the recording to the council. They played it for everyone. As the voices echoed through the hall, the room grew silent. The council leader listened carefully, then looked at the guilty delegates. "You tried to start a war. You tried to blame the innocent." Guards arrested those behind the plot. For the first time, many delegates looked at Eric and Kara with respect and relief. Some even applauded quietly. The council leader stood and spoke. "Today, peace has been saved, not by weapons, but by truth and courage. We must remember this lesson." After the meeting, Eric felt a weight lift from his shoulders. Kara stood beside him, her head high. "You did it, Eric," she said softly. "We did it," Eric replied. "We showed everyone that peace is possible, even in the darkest times." That night, the city felt brighter. Eric walked outside and saw people from many worlds laughing and talking together. Kara joined him, and together they looked up at the stars. "Do you still think strength is only about fighting?" Eric asked. Kara shook her head. No. I think strength is sometimes in the heart. I see that now. They both smiled, knowing things would still be hard. But they had hope. With trust and friendship, maybe peace could last. The next day, news spread quickly through the summit. Someone tried to harm one of the main delegates from a peaceful planet. Rumors ran wild, and many delegates became afraid. Some began to think humans might be behind it. Eric felt heavy inside. Knowing it was harder to build trust when fear was everywhere. In the morning, Eric walked through the halls and saw more guards than usual. The mood had changed. People talked in worried voices. Kara found Eric near the entrance of the main hall. She looked troubled. Something is wrong. My people do not believe a human would do this, but many others do, she said softly. Eric nodded. We have to show everyone the truth. We must help find who really did this, Kara agreed. My people will help investigate. Will you join me? Of course, Eric said. He wanted to show that humans could be trusted. He and Kara began to work together, talking to witnesses and looking for clues. They visited the room where the attack happened. Eric noticed a strange device on the floor. It was not human technology. Kara picked it up and turned it in her hands. This is from the Yellen, not from Earth, she whispered. Then we must show the council, Eric said. If we let fear decide, there will be war. Together, they went to the council and presented the device. The council listened carefully. Some members still looked doubtful, but others seemed relieved. A team of experts checked the device. After a while, they confirmed it was not made by humans. This helped calm some fears. Still, tension was high. Some delegates wanted to blame someone quickly. Others demanded more proof. Eric and Kara stayed at the center of it all. They worked late into the night, helping the council look for more evidence. They talked to many people and listened to different ideas. In the evening, as Eric rested outside on a bench, Kara joined him. You were brave today, she said. You did not give up, even when many turned against you. I had. Tio, Eric replied. If we want peace, we must fight for it, even without weapons. Kara nodded slowly. I never thought I would work with a human. But you are different, Eric. I am starting to see what you mean about a new kind of strength. Eric smiled. I feel the same. I did not expect to find a friend among the Zalari. Kara looked thoughtful. I think we have both changed since the summit began. I respect your courage. As they sat together, a loud alarm rang through the halls. People ran past them, shouting about an attack. Eric and Kara rushed back inside. The council chamber was full of confusion. Someone tried to hurt another delegate. Eric quickly moved to protect a small alien delegate who was in danger. A device exploded nearby, but Kara pulled Eric to safety at the last second. Smoke filled the air. Guards rushed in. Kara stood by Eric, watching for danger. Finally, things calmed down. The delegates were safe, but everyone was shaken. That night, as the summit ended for the day, Eric walked through the quiet halls. He found Kara sitting alone, looking at the stars. You saved my life, Eric said quietly. Kara glanced at him. And you saved the life of another. Maybe together, we can keep saving lives. Maybe we can save this peace. Eric sat beside her. I believe we can. But it will not be easy. Kara smiled a little. I do not want easy. I want something real. I want to believe in peace. As they sat together, the stars above shone down. The future was still uncertain, but Eric felt stronger with Kara by his side. He knew they were both changing. Soon others might change as well. The next few days at the summit were filled with meetings and discussions. Eric worked hard to listen to everyone and speak for his people. He always tried to use calm words and show respect, even when some aliens did not trust humans yet. Eric wanted to build peace, not just for himself, but for all of Earth. Kara watched Eric closely during these days. She often stood in the back of the rooms, her silver armor shining in the lights. Sometimes she would join the other Zilari warriors, but more and more she seemed interested in what Eric was doing. Kara was not sure why, but she wanted to understand. This human who was not afraid of her dot. As the summit went on, rumors started to spread. Some delegates whispered that war might come. A few planets did not like the new human presence in the Federation. They said humans were weak and did not belong. Others feared humans would bring new ideas and change too much. One afternoon, a heated argument broke out in the main hall. Leaders from two worlds shouted at each other. One blamed humans for causing problems. The other said humans brought hope. Eric stood up and spoke, using calm and clear words. He told them humans wanted friendship, not power. His voice was steady. Some delegates listened, but others looked angry. When the meeting ended, Eric felt tired. He walked out into the garden, near the embassy, to find some quiet. Kara found him there, standing by a small pool of water, watching the light reflect on the surface. "You spoke well today," Kara said, her voice soft. "Thank you," Eric replied. "Sometimes it is hard to make people listen, but I must keep trying." Kara nodded. "Many in the Federation do not trust easily. My people respect only strength. You show a different kind of strength, but it confuses them. Maybe in time, they will see there is more than one way to be strong," Eric said quietly. Kara sat on a stone near the pool. She looked at Eric, her eyes full of questions. "Why do you want peace so much? Have humans never fought?" "Humans have fought. Many times," Eric answered. "We have made mistakes, but we learned that fighting only brings pain. Peace lets us grow and discover new things." Kara was silent for a moment. "You are honest, Eric. I respect that. I think some of the other delegates do as well." The next day, an emergency meeting was called. Word had come that some alien factions were gathering ships near the edge of Federation space. People were afraid. Some said it was a test for the humans. Others worried it was the start of a new war. At the meeting, Eric was asked to speak for the humans. He stood before the council, feeling the weight of many eyes on him. He spoke slowly, choosing his words with care. "Humans want to be part of this great family of worlds. We come with open hands, not weapons. If there is fear, let us talk about it. If there is anger, let us understand it. Together, we can find a way." His words did not end the fear, but they gave some hope. A few delegates clapped quietly. Kara, standing at the back, watched and listened. She saw how Eric did not give up, even when things were hard. That night, Kara found Eric walking alone in the city streets. She moved beside him, silent for her. "While my people are preparing for battle," she said at last, "they do not believe peace is possible. They think only strength will keep us safe. And what do you think?" Eric asked softly. Kara hesitated. "I do not know. I was taught to fight. But now I see that you are strong in a different way. I want to believe there is another path." As they walked, they passed groups of aliens talking in low voices. Some looked at Eric with suspicion. Kara noticed this. "They watch you," she said. "Some fear you. Some respect you. Do you ever feel afraid?" "Yes," Eric said honestly, "but I do not let fear stop me. I remember why I'm here. I want to help my people find a place among the stars, and maybe help others find new friends." Kara stopped and looked up at the sky, filled with many moons. "You are not like the others, Eric. You are not afraid of me. You are not afraid of change." "I am still learning," Eric said. "But I think we all can change if we try." Kara smiled a little. "Maybe you are right. Maybe strength is not just in weapons or armor. Maybe it is in hope and trust." The next morning, rumors grew. Stronger that warships were on the move. The council called for urgent talks. Eric and Kara both attended. Some delegates shouted. Others were quiet. Tension filled the room. Eric listened, then stood to speak. "Let us not rush to war. Let us not let fear decide our future. Give us time to talk, to understand each other. We can be stronger together." Kara watched as the council debated. She saw how hard Eric worked to keep peace, even as others argued for battle. Inside, she felt a change. She wanted to believe peace was possible, even if it was hard. When the meeting ended, Kara walked beside Eric. "I want to help you," she said simply. "If you still want to teach me, I will listen." Eric smiled. "I am glad. Maybe together we can help others see the truth." As they walked back to the embassy, the stars above shined brightly. Eric felt tired but hopeful. He knew there were many challenges ahead, but he also knew he was not alone. With Kara beside him, he believed they could find a new path for humans and aliens alike. The next morning, Eric woke up early. He sat by the window in his small room at the embassy, looking at the city beyond. Alien towers touched the sky. Strange flying vehicles moved silently between them. Eric still felt amazed every time he saw the alien world. Everything was different from Earth: the colors, the smells, the sounds. He thought about what happened last night. Kara's words and her scare were still fresh in his mind. Eric wondered if he had done the right thing by answering her honestly. He hoped his words would make a good impression, not just on Kara, but on everyone who had watched the moment. Humans needed friends in this Federation. After breakfast, Eric joined other delegates in the main hall. People from many worlds talked together. Some of them smiled and nodded at Eric. A few even asked him simple questions about Earth. Eric tried to answer as best as he could, always using simple words and a calm voice. He saw Kara across the hall, standing with a group of Zilari warriors. They were tall and proud, with strong armor and sharp eyes. Kara spoke quietly to them, but she kept looking at Eric from time to time. Whenever their eyes met, Kara did not look away. She studied him. Curious and puzzled. After a while, the group of warriors left. Kara stayed behind and slowly walked over to Eric. He stood up straight, ready for anything. Other delegates watched him, but tried not to look too interested. Kara said, "I followed you last night. I wanted to see what you do when you are not watched. I saw you alone, just looking at the stars. Why do you spend so much time thinking?" Eric smiled a little. "Thinking helps me understand. Sometimes answers come when I am quiet." Kara frowned. "My people believe action is better than thought. Warriors train every day. They prepare for danger." "Humans train too," Eric replied. "But we also listen and learn. Sometimes the best action is not to fight, but to wait." Kara did not answer at once. She seemed unsure. "Your way is strange to me. I want to know more." Eric nodded. "I will answer any questions you have." For the rest of the morning, Kara watched Eric as he talked with other delegates. She saw how he listened, how he used gentle words, how he never got angry even when someone disagreed with him. The other delegates started to like Eric more because of his patience and kindness. Kara noticed this. By noon, a group of young delegates from another world invited Eric to lunch. They asked him about Earth's music, food, and stories. Eric shared some simple tales and songs. He even showed them how to play a small game with stones, something he remembered from his childhood. The alien delegates laughed and joined in. Happy to learn something new. Kara watched from a distance, thinking about everything she saw. She remembered her own training, which was all about strength and skill. Kindness and patience were not important in her world. Yet she saw how much these things mattered to others, even among aliens. Later that day, Kara found Eric alone again. She sat down beside him, her armor clinking softly. "Your way is not weak," she said quietly. "It is just different. Many people trust you. You have made friends." "Thank you, Kara," Eric replied. "Maybe our worlds can learn from each other." She looked at him closely. "In my world, we judge strength by how many battles we win. How do you judge strength?" "Sometimes strength is in the heart," Eric said. "It is in the courage to be kind when others are not." Kara was silent. She stared out at the alien sky, thinking hard. "I am not sure my people would agree." but I want to understand. The day ended with a big meeting in the Great Hall. The main speaker was from a distant world, and his words echoed through the chamber. Eric listened carefully, but his thoughts kept going back to Kara and her questions. After the meeting, Eric was leaving the hall when he found a small gift left on his chair, a single silver flower, shaped like the crest of the Zalari warriors. Eric picked it up, knowing right away that Kara had left it. It was a sign of respect, and maybe the start of a new friendship. That night, Eric stood once more by the window, looking at the stars. He thought about all the things that happened. That day, he knew the path ahead would not be easy, but he felt a new hope growing inside him. With every small step, every gentle word, humans could make a difference in this new world. And maybe, just maybe, a strong friendship could grow between a human and a legendary alien warrior.